you approach things differently in terms of because of your knee on Sunday? Will you think about it? Will you caution yourself not to do certain movements or not to try to scramble out of the pocket, or how do you approach it?
No, I'm full go. I'm gonna be playing ball how I can. If somebody comes up, make somebody miss, get out on the edge, extend plays when I need to, hang in the pocket. I'm planning on being exactly how I should be.
Okay, so this week we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is the second time I've done this video. Reason being is I originally had the Steelers beating the New York Jets when I thought Joe Flacco might essentially become the quarterback going into this game. Now, Zach Wilson's back. Changes the dynamic a little bit. Our offense gets opened up a little bit more. He can go ahead and pretty much extend some plays. And I felt it was just the right thing to do to just kind of retape this video and get a better perspective on what that game this week looks like. So let's talk about it.
I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you won a loss? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man. I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you won a loss? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man.
Congratulations, brother.
And here we all right. So Zach Wilson's back. You know what I'm saying? This is exciting for all of us as Jets fans. We've been waiting for this for a little bit. We've seen this kid, continue to progress last year, going into year two. We felt pretty good about what he was going to do this year. And of course, he gets hurt in the preseason game, trying to do a little bit too much. Nonetheless, it wasn't anything crazy. He's 100%. He's all healed up. You heard it from Coach Saleh. You heard it from Zach Wilson himself. He's ready to go. So this week, we play against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, before we go ahead and jump into the predictions here, I want to make sure we understand something. The Pittsburgh Steelers right now are definitely playing a little bit hampered, right? They lost TJ Watt, arguably the best defensive player in the entire NFL. He's out. They don't have a quarterback right now. They got Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett. They're trying to figure out that whole process. The team, nonetheless, with those two huge disadvantages, is a very talented team. Not to mention, they have a top 5 coach in the NFL. And that's something that we just can't take for granted. In fact, it's something that I wasn't for granted because the coach himself actually kind of like gave us a little bit of a shot without realizing gave us a shot, or did he? With this particular clip.
The safety tandem, Whitehead and Joyner, both really good tacklers, both really good field guys in terms of having an innate feel for the game, being able to play downhill into the run, and also good versus the play pass.
At the end of the day, we still have to go into Pittsburgh and we've got to go ahead and win this game. The New York Jets right now are 1-2. They showed us they had a miracle win, of course, in Cleveland. They showed us a run stopping defensive scheme that was really, really impressive in week 1. In week 3 against the Cincinnati Bengals, we all talked about it. It should have been their coming out party. We didn't see our defensive line really do anything. 2 sacks against the quarterback and the offensive line that has given up the most sacks in the entire NFL. Not very promising. We've had an entire week of conversation in terms of exactly what it means to be a coach on this NFL roster, right? The New York Jets coaches have taken a lot of static, a lot of heat, because there's not a lot of belief in these guys in terms of what they can bring to the table. But Zach's back. The offense, with all being said and done, is ranked 18th in the NFL with Joe Flacco at the helm. We now have our starting quarterback in the game. I think Mike LaFleur has done enough for us to really realize, like, okay, this guy has an understanding and he's capable of creating and influencing play calling to where he can go ahead and put his guys in the best scenario. I think with Joe Flacco, it was limited. With Zach Wilson, I think it opens up the playbook a little bit more. Now, not only can Zach do what Joe could do, but now he's able to extend plays and allow those guys to get open. I think for us to have a shot in this game, and people are going to think I'm crazy when I say this, but we're still going away from home. We're going into Steelers territory. We're going to their house, and the Steelers are not a team to be slept on. I don't think anybody should be sleeping on the Steelers right now. Yes, they're 1-2, just like we are, but nonetheless, those guys have been in more games than we have in the last few weeks. So, with that said, Zach Wilson coming fresh off an injury, I think if I'm Coach Tomlin, I'm trying to get to the quarterback all day and every day. We have a weakness on the left side of the offensive line in terms of our left tackle, and I mean, unfortunately, our left guard. We weren't expecting Tomlinson to be what we're seeing. We expected to have a Pro Bowl caliber individual on that left side, but it's proven to be more of I guess more of a burden for him. He hasn't actually showed us that Pro Bowl caliber level of play, and that's concerning. So Zach Wilson right now is coming into what I would like to identify as a half an offensive line, which terrifying. It's terrifying because Coach Tomlin again is going to be my key component in terms of the Steelers being something for us to deal with. Quality coaching is very, very underrated in the NFL. And I think Coach Tomlin, being one of the best coaches, has found ways throughout his entire career to, one, never have a losing season in his entire career. Two, he finds ways to put his players in the best position possible in order to maximize their skill set. When you have a coach who thinks like that, and by the way, he's also a player's coach, you got to be worried and scared every time you go into their territory because he's going to have his guys prepared. You saw during his little presser, he doesn't seem too worried about our secondary. Granted, he gave a lot of fluff in terms of commenting those guys, but he complimented the weakest component of our defense, which is the safety group, by stating that they were so aware of aspects on the defense on the field. They're great tacklers. All things they've proven to not be the case come this season. So again, I think that they already have a game plan in terms of how to attack this offense. Sorry, to attack the New York Jets defense, and it's to target those safeties. And we really can't blame them. Our safeties have been a liability, so it makes sense that he feels comfortable enough to pretty much little satire press conference about our safety group. Because what's he got to worry about, right? He's seen this before. He understands the game plan. So it's it's rough, man, because with Zach Wilson coming back, a lot to be excited about. Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, Elijah Moore has still not been utilized to his full potential. The dude continues to be unguardable in the NFL. We saw some great things from our secondary, you know what I'm saying? Sauce and DJ Reed. DJ Reed being a top 5 cornerback in the NFL right now is just impressive, immaculate. So that's the guy who's going to go ahead and take out the number 1 wide receiver or whoever's lined up against him whenever he gets on the field. Sauce Gardner is coming into his own. This is a guy right now that is a top 15 cornerback in the NFL, and he's a rookie. So there's a lot more he's got to learn and kind of figure out before, of course, he puts it all together. But I will say this: I will give credit to the coaching staff for putting together, in terms of the youth of our roster. We've got JJ, who's doing well, outperforming the likes of George Kalafdis, which is somebody that I think a lot of us were kind of big on in terms of a pass rush. JJ is doing better than he is. We've got Brees Hall, who's had a couple of really good runs. I think he's only going to get better. We haven't seen him hit his full potential. They're coaching him up. I mean, we know about Garrett Wilson, so I'm not going to waste your time to talk about Garrett Wilson. He's balled out. But can the Jets win this game? I think it's a possibility. It's a possibility, right? Any given Sunday. But there's some real concerns, right? Can the offensive line give Zach Wilson the time he needs to get the ball out? Is Zach Wilson going to be rusty? We don't know. Zach Wilson might be a little rusty coming in. Hadn't played football in over a month. Is Elijah Moore going to get utilized more in the game plan? This is one of our weapons who I believe to be wide receiver 1 on our roster. Granted, Garrett Wilson has definitely, I guess, excelled or progressed way faster than anybody could have predicted. But Elijah Moore is still wide receiver 1 on this roster. Brees Hall has not yet done that freaking big splash play we're all waiting to see, right? That second, third gear that we know he has, we haven't seen it. And the defensive line, what we all thought originally was going to be the bread and butter of this entire roster, has proven to be lackluster. So there's a lot of question marks when it comes to being a New York Jet or Jets fan, because the Jets right now haven't shown us enough. But what I can tell you is that the Pittsburgh Steelers are also struggling. They're out of their element. This isn't something they're accustomed to when the quarterback is questionable, right? The defensive line that was once a powerhouse with TJ Watt, who was a freaking game wrecker at the edge position, he's not there. So there's question marks to be had, right? There's weak points. Can the Jets go there and get a win? That's ultimately the question. And for me, I'm going to give you my prediction on this game. And sadly, I don't see the Jets pulling it off. I just don't. When it comes to this game, both teams right now are suffering in terms of injuries and inconsistency at the quarterback position. As much as I love Zach Wilson, I don't know if game one of him coming back in is going to allow him to really exploit and or show his skill set right now as he's coming back from the rust. I still expect big things from Zach Wilson, but I'm basing this loss between coaching staff versus coaching staff. Coach Tomlin is proven. This guy is, again, a top 5 coach in the NFL. And it sucks, too. I'm in my brother's house watching this game. And my goal is, and hopefully we do pull the win out. Don't get it twisted. I want the Jets to win. I'm just saying I'm going to give you guys a legitimate and realistic analysis. The benefits are that I think offensively we may have the edge in terms of the quarterback, which is a big if because we don't know what Zach Wilson's going to look like coming in tomorrow. Um, I think in terms of the running back room right now, I would probably say we have 2 legitimate running back ones, Najee Harris being the primary guy. And maybe we give that to the Jets wide receiver wise. I mean, granted, we've got high ceiling guys, but we've got proven guys across the way in the Steelers room. So it's really close on the offensive side, right? Defensive line wise, I think that we're healthy, so that gives us an advantage or an edge. But does it really mean anything? Because we haven't seen that result into sacks, right? Secondary wise, I'm not sure if they're 100% healthy there. I know I like our DB room. I like our DBs, but our safeties are such a liability that it almost bypasses the secondary completely. So I think it's going to be a game of inches. It's going to be a game where coaching is heavily impacted and involved in who wins this game. And unfortunately, I don't know if I have the confidence in our coaching staff for me to be able to sit here and tell you the Jets win this game tomorrow. Coach Tomlin, like I said before, proven. We know he knows how to win games. We know he knows how to make adjustments. And for that, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers beating the Jets 21-17 tomorrow in Pittsburgh. And it's a great game for Zach. He comes back out. He gets familiar, right? I think he's going to go ahead and be good for 1 touchdown, no interceptions. We're looking at about 280 yards passing. And unfortunately, we're just not able to go ahead and stop the passing game, and we can't get pressure on Mitch Trubisky in order to go ahead and throw him off tilt. And I think Chase Claypool, George Pickens, and Thompson Johnson ultimately just freaking they eat because they're gonna have time to get open based off of our defensive line not being able to get to Mitch Trubisky. So yeah, so 21-17, Pittsburgh Steelers, they win tomorrow. And yeah, it's frustrating, right? Like to be honest with you though, when I did this video before, I had the Jets still losing. It was 17-14. With Zach Wilson in, I have us getting a few more extra points. And I still believe it's a 21-17 loss for the New York Jets. Now, if our defense and special teams decides to show up like we saw them do in Cleveland, I think that changes the dynamic a little bit, and just as easily the game goes 17-21 New York Jets in the Jets' favor. It's gonna be a game, man. And like I said, I'm gonna be at my brother's house watching this game, so I would really appreciate it if the Jets showed up tomorrow and got us a W. I would really, really appreciate that. Um, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Nonetheless, Zach Wilson is out here tomorrow, and if anything can be said is that's exciting. We get to finally start analyzing our number 2 overall pick. Is this guy going to continue in moving the ball down the field the way he did post injury last year? Is he going to regress? It's year 2 in the same offense. He's got way more weapons. I think as myself as a Jets fanatic slash, you know what I'm saying, like amateur analyst and fans everywhere, it's all about seeing the development of Zach Wilson. If we lose this game tomorrow, 21-17, and Zach Wilson looks competent, I don't consider that a loss. I think that's one thing that we can hold proudly in saying, like, okay, cool. Our quarterback looked competent coming back from injury. Let's get him warmed up and see him progressing forward. And I mean, right now it's a wide open AFC East, right? We just saw the unfortunate injury from Tua. Matt Jones as well is injured, and we don't know how long he's going to be out for. We saw the Buffalo Bills lose to the Miami Dolphins, so they're susceptible to taking L's, and their secondary right now is banged up. We're probably the healthiest team in the AFC East, right? Which is shocking to say as an organization, but the football guys have put things in place for us to go ahead and be able to take advantage and still be in it, right? In terms of the AFC East, and again, I wish nothing but a quick healing process for Tua. Mac Jones, I hate his guts, but I don't want us to beat these teams without their best guys on the field. I want it to be as fair as possible, so that way that when you're bragging about it and you're talking about it, it has more value. So Mac Jones, hate your guts, hate the Patriots' guts, but I hope he's good to go too from his high ankle sprain, and we're able to go ahead and beat his butt here in a couple of weeks. So, yeah, what it boils down to ultimately is the Jets have an opportunity right now, being the healthiest team going into week 4 in the AFC East, to capitalize. Will they? Will they not? I don't know. The coaching staff has left a lot to be desired. And I've been a very, very vocal individual who stated how much I love this coaching staff. But nonetheless, we need to see it for it to matter. So, as always, go Jets. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're not tracking, I currently just posted on Twitter and on Instagram a giveaway for a John Riggins autographed mini helmet. Pretty much to win it, all you got to do is on Twitter, be following me on Twitter, follow me here on YouTube, leave a comment as to what teams did John Riggins play for in the NFL, and also when did he get inducted into the Hall of Fame. You do that, you're automatically entered to go ahead and be submitted for winning the mini helmet, autographed mini helmet. I will be picking that winner tomorrow before the game starts as well. And that way I'll have it shipped out on Monday. So, yeah. Go Jets. Go Jets. Hopefully we go ahead and squeak one out and we get another victory. Till next time. Okay. So this week we play the Steelers, Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, this is the second time I've done this video, and let me explain. Now, I've done this thing twice now because I wasn't too sure. TJ, Payton, turn that down just a little bit, bud. Thank you, buddy. Hey, buddy. Not to record right now. No, not all the way, buddy. Just a little bit. You can pull it up a little bit. I can still cancel it out. It's just the high pitches is making my microphone spike.